My name is Wes Rodriguez.
And I'm Marin Flores.
And you are listening to Sink or Swim with Wes and M. 3, 2, 1, roll tape. How is everybody doing today?
That's funny. 3, 2, 1, roll tape.
Oh, before I forget, Marin, my brother sent me something cool. He sent me this email.
Okay.
With video footage of him skateboarding.
Really?
And he edited it on his iPhone and with his Mac computer. And
you can really do all that with an iPhone? Really?
It's the iPhone is cake.
I'm so caveman. I don't.
And the Mac computer is really good at editing and producing like imagery and video and stuff. The Mac is really strong with its capabilities of editing and stuff. So he cut out all the crap and chopped it down to just him pulling the tricks off.
Simplified it.
And he sent it to me, and it was like maybe 30 or 40 seconds. And I suggested to him, why don't you get some more footage and then lay down a track underneath it corresponding to the video, you know, make your own little music video in a sense.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I could do that. And he's like, with my Mac, it should be real easy. And he's like, I was already checking out video programs, or I was already checking out my video editing program, and it looks real easy to run. So like 12 hours later, 13 hours later, he sends me another email of a completed video with like a quarter of the song, and it's so precise. The tempo and the actions in the video are right on point.
Right.
And the lyrics correspond to his character. As well as there are references in the song that correspond to what's happening on the screen.
Okay.
Which is everything, all the itinerary one needs when producing a music video.
Right.
So I'm going to let you check it out, and with or without his permission, I'm posting it on YouTube. So I hope he doesn't get pissed off, but I want everybody to see how good my brother is at skateboarding and editing now.
Got the next Spielberg. Who knows?
Who knows? And maybe I can convince him to send us more footage to fill our page full of content.
Hey, it's always good to have the book of references to go to. That's always a good thing. You
Absolutely.
know? So maybe when we're big enough and we have our own office, we'll just have writers and shit do all our footage. Isn't that how a lot of
and a skate park in the back?
Right. Out here we have 96.7 KCAL FM. And there's a, what is it? Morning Stiffy?
Yeah.
Is what they call it. And I'm sure they write most of their stuff, but I know they have writers that, you know, look, tomorrow this is what we're going to be talking about. Write me something funny. Yeah. And as cliche as that sounds, I'd like to be that one day. But I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know if my integrity will allow me to do that. I like that rush of putting something out there and knowing there's something about that. For me, it's like a drug, knowing that there's something out there. People might not like it. You know, there's that adrenaline rush that they get. And then when I find out people like it or people laugh at whatever I'm saying or whatever, man, there's nothing that's, you know, the only other way I can describe that even comes close to that is getting high. You know?
Yeah.
That's the only other way. And this is just a natural endorphin rush.
Yeah, that risk also, it's risk that comes in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
However, we've learned from the Wednesday show, we must never be married to our material.
Yeah. You know where I heard that before, too? There's a certain chopper show that comes on, and one of the younger mechanics built a bike. And then after he built the bike, he put all these hours into it, put all this lime green candy coat on it, pinstriped it, make it all nice and neat, right? And then after he builds it, I guess he thought he was going to get to keep it. And they said, okay, well, it's going to auction next week. And he's like, what? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And he said, what? You didn't think you were going to keep it, did you?
Sucker.
This is money, man.
Right.
You got to make money.
Yeah.
So then they end up selling the bike, right? And then maybe a half a season later, or maybe even 2 or 3 seasons later, I don't remember. They tell him, okay, guess what? We're gonna, you go ahead. You have enough knowledge now. By this time, he had already went off to motorcycle school and came back and stuff. Right? He's older now, and he said, go ahead. You know, you're working back in the shop now. Go ahead and build your own bike, and this one you can take with you. And he's like, all right, cool. So he got to keep it. But yeah, you like you said, don't get married to that material because a lot of the footage of a lot of what we say and go, we sometimes we get 2 hours of footage. And we break it down to an hour and 20 minutes. One show we actually had to break it up into 2 fucking shows.
Yeah.
So that was But anyway, I hope we get some more videos from Kenneth. That'd be really nice. That'd be really neat.
That'd be very cool, man.
And again, enjoy the editing and what do you say? Let your freak flag fly. Yeah. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Just go with it, man. So anyway,
look forward to that on our YouTube channel, and I will post a link to the Facebook page. And that's that. All right. Okay. Well, we are recording in our new established Sink or Swim Studios, where Marin is volunteering. Do you want to elaborate on that, Marin?
No, I'm actually helping a friend out to get his business up and running. He runs a computer shop, so that's what I'm doing. I'm hanging out here, and he's been kind enough to let me use one of the back rooms. That's it's pretty good when it comes to sound. Other than the Mexican place next door that has a macho, they actually have a live band there. So,
and we have the ambient sound of a schizophrenic floor fan.
He doesn't know whether he wants to stay on or not.
I used to have one of those when I first moved out of my mom's pad.
Yeah.
And we lived in a tweaker pad, so everything kind of established its own personality.
Right.
Doors making crazy noises and people walking around mumbling phrases and incoherent sentence fragments at 3 o'clock in the morning. Of course, you have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning wandering around to hear those people talking too.
People tapping on your window, climbing out from up under your bed, asking if you have a lighter. Yeah,
the window to the room that I stayed in, it was like a 10 by 10 room, and I literally had it packed wall to wall from furniture. Like as soon as you entered the room, from left to right, all the way around the room, there was, bed, couch, chair. Like there was no actual, you couldn't stand sideways against the wall because there was so much furniture everywhere.
Right.
It was the weirdest fire escape. I'm sure other people that have lived in plenty of houses would have seen this, but it had like a cable running from the window inside of the door, or inside of the window or the sill, like hanging in front of it, like with a big square bracket that you would fit your foot into and step down on.
Oh yeah, for the windows.
And it would release the bars.
Right.
Right, yeah. It's supposed to be keeping people out from breaking into your place.
Right. Yeah, I've installed a few of those.
It looks gaudy. It looks really scary. Like what kind of neighborhood do I live in? Anyway, the fan was positioned in there, and I had it on, and I never turned it off. Yet, whenever you wanted it on, it would turn on. I never had to go over there and mess with it.
Right.
Like when I needed it to be cool, it was on. If it was too cold in the room, it just wasn't running.
It just turned itself off.
Right. It was the weirdest thing.
That's the kind of fan you sell at your local yard sale for an extra $20 because it knows your personality. It knows what you want.
Tempered to tweaker home specifications.
I actually wanted the last apartment that I moved into. I was so tweaked out. The girl that I was with, my son's mother, we would get in arguments, and she'd actually kick the door in. She'd always kick the door in the bed when I walk into the bedroom, and she'd kick it in like, "Don't you walk away from me!"
Wow.
So one day she went to work, and I knew shit was gonna go down, because we were already running low on our dope, and how that goes. When you're running low on dope, you got to get a little angsty, Me being the innovator that I be, I took the hinges off the side and I put them up on top of the door. So you literally had to push the door open and up.
What?
You had to push the door open, but it opened upwards like a drawbridge, but reverse.
Crazy.
So when she came home, we get into an argument, which I already anticipated. And so I walked. Yeah, exactly.
Painting a very perfect picture.
Yeah, so I'm trying to give as much visual as I can. So as I walk in through the door, I pull the pin because I literally drilled holes in the hallway. It was a little hallway, and you had 2 doors. You walk through one door and then through another door. And so I drill holes in the walls of the second doorway. And then I just put a screwdriver there, and it would hold it up.
So let me get this straight, Marin. You set the door up so that it was the hinges, and it was swinging.
The hinges were on top of the door. Yeah, there were 2 hinges on top of the door. So when you pushed the door to open it, you literally had to push it up like a garage.
Other way other than that, it functioned normally. Like you turn the handle and
it had a handle,
and it latched.
It latched,
so to speak.
Of course.
Okay. Continue.
So I walk through the door knowing she's behind me.
Let me just state that I could have used this in an example I'm about to give you, which would have been fucking awesome. But go ahead.
And so I walk through the door, and immediately I pull the screwdriver out, and I set the door down, right? And so I know what she's gonna do. She's gonna come through there at any second, right? I'm just standing there and I'm watching the door. And so she, as usual, she kicks the door. Boom! And it flies open up so high that she tries to walk through it, it just slams right back down on her. Bam! You son of a bitch! And as soon as it slammed back down, I ran over to the door and I had this huge long screwdriver, like a 12-inch screwdriver. And I'd already pre-drilled a hole in the floor through the carpet. So I jammed the screwdriver down in there and she's like trying to open the door. Oh my God. Yeah,
that sounds like a tweaker house.
Oh yeah, that was so many. I wish I had pictures. If I had taken pictures, but I still remember the insanity that went on in that place. So, what's your story? How could you have used a drawbridge door?
Booby trap.
Yeah, booby trap
door.
Yeah, one of the few times that I hear the word booby and I don't think of titties.
Unless they're flying at you, with a ferocity that's expecting to burst through the door.
Yeah.
Because it's hinged correctly.
That's funny.
One of the roommates I had...
Mm-hmm. Male, female?
Male. Let me give you a description. The guy was very cool. Everybody loved him, but he was known for his violent temper.
Oh, okay.
Like one of his defining characteristics was don't piss him off, and everybody's constantly walking on eggshells around him.
Okay.
And he had the garage, the lazy boy chair I have in my room.
Yeah.
Was previously owned by him in that garage. It was his chair, like his throne.
Okay.
Nobody sat there, and I had that same concept. Like I always feel that my captain's chair,
right?
You designate it when you're at home,
right?
And if someone sits in it, you automatically get uncomfortable,
right?
You feel kind of threatened.
My fucking chair,
right? That's my. And then I'm piloting the ship. I can't do it right unless I'm sitting here, right?
Right.
So everybody knew that about the garage. Don't sit in that chair. And so when he finally gave it up, he's like, dude, I'm going to get rid of this thing. Do you want it? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. So anyhow, he was known for his violent temper all the way to the extremes of like his garage would have all the video games, and he even had a fridge in there, so whenever we bought beer, we had a place to drink.
Right.
We could chill with him, and fucking, of course, we got high there, and I'm sure we fucking dropped acid and all kinds of shit in that garage. The garage was set up.
Has there ever been a garage that we haven't gotten high in? Ever?
I don't think I've ever owned one. even my mom's garage I grew up in. Anyhow, the garage was set up comfort style. It was barely even used as a garage. There were some tools and shit in there, and lawnmowers and whatnot, but everything was pretty much set up.
That was just a cover.
and his mom loved him to death, so she catered to whatever he wanted. And granted, he got good grades. He never really got into trouble, and he always took care of his business. Anyhow, he had this huge temper, and everybody wanted to play video games and hang out there, but you gotta he had rules and stuff, and then punishments. And he would put somebody in charge of monitoring the music, make sure that something was playing constantly.
Right.
Like, he barely did anything, and he had designation for everything.
Right.
But
right when you walk in the door, okay, your chips. You make sure that chip bowl's always full.
Precisely.
If there's no ice in that fucking tray, you're out.
You're breaking up the weed and whatnot.
Right.
And the payoff was he would always be able to have things there to party with. He always had alcohol. He always had weed.
Right.
And
great managerial skills.
So, absolutely. And so, eventually, he moved out of the garage, and then I moved in with him in an apartment. And it was a one-bedroom, and I lived in the living room. There were many times when he would get really upset with his girlfriend or work or just video games that he's playing, that he would literally lose his mind, broke many a controller by throwing it at the screen, and you would hear him just going off. And I would be nervous because I grew up in a